Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. Hopefully, everyone had a wonderful 4th of July. And now you're just relaxing at home and you're here with me, which is wonderful. Or maybe you're just passing through. Either way is fine. So, today I want to talk about food rules. Certain rules that I used to follow. I used to follow a ton of rules. So this started when I hit a plateau in my weight and I started trying to look for any and every answer possible. This led to a lot of internet searching and a lot of searching for magazines, for articles, anything that would give me the answer to my problem of this plateau. And so these this led to me stacking rule upon rule upon rule for me as far as eating is concerned. So, for example, make sure you put your fork down between each bite. No high fructose corn syrup. Nothing, you can't eat anything after 8 p.m. And then that turned into, oh, but you also can't eat anything before noon. Make sure you follow the grandma rule. So if my grandmother couldn't understand it, absolutely don't eat it. Don't eat any fast food. No refined carbs. I could keep going with this story. Like it's just like anything and everything possible. Some of these stories you might follow and I get it. I've been there. Despite knowing that weight loss at the heart of it was simply, can you eat less calories than you expel? So calories in, calories out. I knew that was the answer, but despite that, I was just drowning under these pile of food rules. And this made feeding myself and losing weight very, very complicated. And here's the thing. As I began to grow along my path, I began to realize that the more complicated my rules were, my path was, the more difficult it was to follow and the less movement that I experienced towards my goal. So it ultimately meant that I was not taking a clear action. I was doing a whole lot of movement around this problem, a whole lot of things, but I wasn't just following one clear path. The rules were vague. They just created all this internal noise. And I already talked this week about stress and what happens when you've got a lot of internal mental clutter. These rules turn into mental clutter. And what happens when we have that clutter internally, then externally we freeze. On top of that, and this was a big one, food became a moral issue for me. I wouldn't walk around actually consciously thinking that, but I know it did. If you ate these foods are good, these foods are bad. And then that turned into, if I eat these foods, I'm good. If I eat these foods, I'm bad. And that gets heavy. It gets heavy under that pile of emotions. But as I started to walk down the path I'm on now, I found a new way. So now I feel a lot more light. I feel easy. I enjoy calorie counting. I know that's some of you might be like, what? You enjoy it? I enjoy it because it gives me a clear and direct action to follow. I eat only the things I love. I feel secure, especially with all of you'd be surprised how when a global pandemic hits and there's so much chaos going on, how the simple act of planning out what you're going to eat, following one simple rule, it provides security. So you've heard of comfort foods. I actually have comfort meals. All of my meals are comfort meals. And at the heart of it, there's really elegance in the simplicity of the system that I follow. So what I want to offer you today from this little video, I want to invite you to get clear on the purpose of the rules that you're following. So ask yourself if these rules, what's the purpose? What's the end game of the rules you're following? And do they serve you? Do they serve the goal that you're after? And in addition to this, I also want you to consider that when you distill foods down into just a number, so just a number, the calorie that is attached to that food, it actually helps you cut through all of that noise so you can begin to move towards, you can find the root cause of what you're after, you can move towards your goal, is what I'm trying to say. And finally, I know that we get very attached to our rules. I know there were certain points in my life where if anybody were to challenge a rule I followed, I would feel very angry. I mean, it would be basically that they're challenging me. So I want to invite you to consider if the rules you're following are actually serving you, or are you serving the rules? Because at the heart of this, those rules are meant to serve you. And if they're not serving you, if they're not getting you towards your goal, if they're not giving you a clear path, then they're really just hindering you. And one final thought, you are not your rules. So at any point, you can just let those rules go, and you're still you. Comment below if you've got some rules that you follow that you might be questioning, or just rules that you follow. That's all good. And then either I'll see you at the gym today, or I'll see you online tomorrow. Don't forget, challenge begins tomorrow. You're still welcome to join us if you would like. So have a wonderful Sunday. We'll talk soon. Bye now.